Rebecca Chaiklin isn't exactly known for playing it safe. After all, Tiger King taught us that reality is stranger than fiction. But when news broke that her latest project would focus on Harry and Meghan, the world expected another glamorous, sympathetic retelling of their love story. Instead, Chaiklin delivered something far bolder. But before we continue, please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell for more updates. The opening scenes of Rebel Royals reportedly feature Meghan adjusting what appears to be a prosthetic bump backstage, unaware of hidden cameras rolling. This moment, described by one insider as the royal mic drop of the century, sent shockwaves across both sides of the Atlantic. Think about it, we've seen royal scandals before, divorces, affairs, tell-all interviews, but faking an entire pregnancy? That takes palace drama to Shakespearean levels. But why would Meghan risk everything on such a deception? The documentary suggests one answer: control. Why pregnancy became Meghan's ultimate weapon. Pregnancy in the royal family isn't just about babies. It's about legacy, tradition, and, let's be honest, media ratings. Every royal bump comes with global coverage, glowing headlines, and adoring fans. Chaiklin's film argues that Meghan knew this and used it to her advantage. According to insiders, Meghan allegedly staged her pregnancies to secure public sympathy. A pregnant duchess was harder to criticize. Fast-track royal acceptance. A baby meant permanence in the royal narrative. Stay in control of the story. With prosthetic bumps, Meghan could dictate when and where she appeared heavily pregnant. One palace aide reportedly told Chaiklin, she understood the power of that bump. It was her crown. Whether you believe it or not, the idea is tantalizing. Meghan didn't just wear designer gowns. She allegedly wore motherhood like a costume. The visual clues nobody paid attention to. Let's face it, hindsight is a cruel friend. Once Chaiklin's documentary aired, eagle-eyed viewers went back through thousands of Meghan's public photos, and suddenly, nothing looked the same. In one event, Meghan's bump seemed to fold awkwardly as she bent down. At another appearance, her bump appeared noticeably larger just days after being smaller. During a TV interview, the way Meghan adjusted her dress sparked whispers. Was she adjusting fabric? Or a prop? Social media lit up with side-by-side comparisons. TikTok sleuths created slow-motion breakdowns. Twitter exploded with hashtags like #SurrogateScandal and #BumpGate. And here's the kicker. Many people realized they had noticed these inconsistencies before, but brushed them off as tabloid exaggeration. Now, with Netflix backing the claims, the conversation turned deadly serious. Harry's role in the cover-up. Of course, Meghan wasn't alone in this alleged deception. The documentary suggests that Prince Harry was not just aware, but actively complicit. Think about Harry's body language during Meghan's pregnancies. He often stood protectively, shielding her from cameras. He fiercely defended her against unfair press attacks. He seemed rehearsed in his outrage whenever pregnancy rumors surfaced. According to Chaiklin's documentary, insiders claim Harry had one mission: protect Meghan's narrative at all costs. But here's where it gets spicy. The film teases the possibility that Harry himself may have doubted the story at times, but stayed silent for fear of losing Meghan. One friend quoted in the documentary says, Harry was torn. He wanted to believe her, but deep down, he knew something wasn't right. Could it be that the most rebellious prince of our era became a prisoner in Meghan's royal strategy? The palace reaction. Silence or strategy? If you've followed royal scandals before, you know the palace playbook. Never complain, never explain. True to form, Buckingham Palace has not released an official statement. But silence doesn't mean nothing is happening behind the velvet curtains. According to Chaiklin's sources, senior royals were furious when rumors of the documentary first leaked. Some allegedly considered legal action to block its release, but Netflix's legal fortress made that impossible. Behind the scenes, however, the documentary suggests Queen Elizabeth was deeply hurt by the allegations before her passing. Princess and reportedly pushed for Harry and Meghan to be formally cut off if the rumors proved true. The palace's silence now feels less like dignity and more like strategy. A waiting game to see how the world reacts. And judging by social media, The reaction is nuclear. Why surrogacy isn't the scandal, but the secrecy is. Here's where things get interesting. In today's world, using a surrogate is not scandalous. Celebrities from Kim Kardashian to Nicole Kidman have done it openly. So why is Meghan's alleged surrogacy different? The documentary frames it like this. It's not the surrogacy, it's the secrecy. If Meghan had openly announced she used a surrogate, she might have been praised for honesty. Instead, Chaiklin argues, Meghan allegedly staged a fake pregnancy to gain sympathy, attention, and control. This distinction is crucial. It transforms a personal medical choice into a global manipulation tactic. As one royal commentator quips in the documentary, it wasn't about the baby, it was about the brand. The public divides. Team Meghan versus Team Truth. Every great scandal splits the audience. On one side, Meghan's loyal fans insist the documentary is tabloid trash wrapped in Netflix glitter. They argue Meghan has been unfairly targeted from day one, and this is just another smear campaign. On the other side, skeptics feel vindicated. They've long believed something didn't add up, and now they have a high-profile documentary to back their suspicions. The battle lines are clear. Hashtag I stand with Meghan versus hashtag expose the truth. Meghan as victim versus Meghan as manipulator. A love story versus a royal heist. The debate is so fierce that even news anchors struggle to stay neutral. CNN and BBC have dedicated primetime panels, while TikTok and YouTube explode with evidence breakdowns. This isn't just gossip anymore. It's a cultural war. Lessons in image, power, and manipulation. Beyond the scandal, Chaiklin's documentary serves as a masterclass in how image and perception shape power. Think about it. A bump became Meghan's greatest weapon. A story became Harry's shield. A silence became the palace's strategy. Whether true or false, the very idea of a staged pregnancy forces us to ask, how much of what we see in public life is real, and how much is curated performance? Is Meghan just the latest example of a celebrity royal hybrid who understands that perception is power, and will stop at nothing to control it? What happens next? The fallout nobody can predict. The documentary ends not with closure, but with questions. Will Netflix face lawsuits from the Sussexes or the palace? Will Harry and Meghan issue a rebuttal or stay silent? Could the scandal permanently fracture the Sussex brand in Hollywood? One thing is clear. The surrogate bombshell has already entered pop culture folklore. People will dissect, debate, and argue about this for years. Just like Diana's Panorama interview or Charles and Camilla's Tampon Gate. The difference? This time, it's not just about romance or scandal. It's about the very future of how the royal family survives in the age of global streaming and relentless public scrutiny. The story that refuses to end. Fairy tales are supposed to end with happily ever after. But in the world of the British royals, happily ever after often comes with footnotes, question marks, and shocking Netflix documentaries. Whether you believe Meghan used a surrogate or think this is all smoke and mirrors, one truth is undeniable. The world cannot look away. And maybe that's the real story here. In the end, Meghan and Harry have achieved exactly what they wanted. They remain the most talked about couple on the planet. Call to action. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Meghan's pregnancies were real? Or do you believe Rebecca Chaiklin's documentary dropped the biggest bombshell in royal history? Share your thoughts in the comments. Debate with friends. And if this story shocked you, don't forget to pass it along. Because royal secrets are only fun when everyone's whispering them. The fairy tale may be fractured, but one thing's certain. The rebel royal story is far from over. Enter Rebecca Chaiklin, the queen of scandal docs. Narrator, slow and teasing. Before we even get into the surrogate bombshell, before we talk prosthetic bumps and staged pregnancies, we need to meet the woman who decided to take the crown jewels of royal gossip and turn them into Netflix gold, Rebecca Chaiklin. Rebecca Chaiklin's reputation for chaos. Rebecca Chaiklin is not your average filmmaker. She doesn't do safe documentaries about pretty landscapes or bland biographies. No, she's the kind of storyteller who walks into the middle of a circus, grabs the microphone, and announces, "Welcome to the greatest show on earth." Her most famous project? Tiger King. Yes, that chaotic, meme-worthy docuseries that had all of us stuck at home in 2020 whispering about Carole Baskin, Joe Exotic, and tigers in Oklahoma. It wasn't just a documentary, it was a cultural explosion. Think back for a moment. Everyone was watching it. Twitter couldn't stop making jokes. TikTok had parody songs. Even celebrities couldn't look away. Why? Because Chaiklin understood something essential. People don't just want facts. They want characters. They want villains. They want drama so wild it makes them gasp, laugh, and question reality. All in the same episode. That's what Chaiklin delivers. She finds the drama, frames the story, and then lets chaos speak for itself. Why Harry and Meghan were irresistible. So why did Chaiklin choose Meghan Markle and Prince Harry as her next big project? Simple. They're the royal equivalent of Tiger King. A love story that was supposed to be a fairy tale. A duchess who claimed to be silenced, then couldn't stop speaking. A prince who walked away from a 1,000-year-old crown. And a family that thrives on tradition suddenly colliding with Netflix cameras. From the moment Harry and Meghan said, "I do," their story has been described as modern, rebellious, and, depending on who you ask, either inspirational or catastrophic. To a filmmaker like Chaiklin, this wasn't just a love story. This was a franchise. And so she set out to tell it, but not the way Oprah did, not the way Netflix's earlier docuseries Harry and Meghan did. Chaiklin wanted to dig beneath the glossy speeches and polished PR. She wanted the cracks, the contradictions, the whispers the palace hoped would never go public. Visual suggestion, montage cue. Show clips of Tiger King's wildest moments, quick cuts of Joe Exotic, tigers, Carole Baskin fade into glamorous royal wedding clips of Meghan in her Givenchy dress transition into paparazzi chaos outside Buckingham Palace. Narrator. From tiger cages to gilded cages. Chaiklin traded in lions for royals, but the energy? Oh, it stayed the same. The early teasers. Netflix's masterclass in suspense. When Netflix first announced Rebel Royals, an unlikely love story, the press release sounded safe. A deep exploration into love, sacrifice, and modern royalty. Pretty, poetic, harmless. But then the teaser trailers started dropping. Dark lighting, dramatic voiceovers, paparazzi flashbulbs, Meghan's silhouette, clutching her baby bump in slow motion. And then, a sharp cut to Rebecca Chaiklin's voice. Every fairy tale has its secrets. This one may have the biggest of all. Audiences didn't know what they were walking into, but they sensed this wasn't just going to be another sob story about Meghan versus the palace. The rumor she couldn't ignore. Here's where it gets fascinating. According to behind-the-scenes insiders, Chaiklin initially set out to make a story about love versus tradition. But as she dug deeper, a single rumor kept resurfacing. The pregnancy. Every age she interviewed, every tabloid editor, even some friends of the Sussexes, they all had whispers about the bump. Some laughed it off as internet nonsense. Others swore they saw inconsistencies. But the fact remained. People kept bringing it up. Chaiklin reportedly told a colleague, "You don't ignore the rumor everyone's afraid to say out loud. That's where the story lives." And with that, the entire documentary shifted. No longer just a royal romance, it became an investigation. Humor plus relatability moment. Narrator. Conversational tone. Now look. Most of us have trouble figuring out what's real on Instagram. Is that filter, filler, or Photoshop? But when you're dealing with royalty, the stakes are higher. Because if Meghan's pregnancy was staged, then the world wasn't just fooled on social media. It was fooled in history. Chaiklin's boldness. This is what makes Rebecca Chaiklin different from other filmmakers. Most would have backed off. Too controversial. Too risky. Too many lawyers ready to pounce. But Chaiklin thrives on the impossible. She doesn't flinch when the story gets dangerous. She digs harder. And so she decided to lean all the way in. The docuseries would not just show Meghan's romance. It would question Meghan's motherhood. That, my friends, is not just bold. It's borderline reckless. And that's why the world is talking. Visual suggestion, Netflix poster concept. On screen, mock-up poster-style graphics. Megan holding her bump in glowing spots.